Yo, what's Gucci? What's Fendi? What's popping? Brand new whip? Nah, fam. I just hopped in. And this week, I'm hopping into a big, important topic, a topic that hits the heart, and that is mental health. But I decided that I couldn't do it alone, of course. And I had to bring in a very good friend of mine who knows so much about mental health. Um, this friend of mine, her name is Tsungi, and we go way, 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 way back. Um, so let me not blabber too much about her, but I think I'd rather have her introduce herself to the people. So Tsungi, what up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Um, Damn, where did I start? Please introduce yourself, just like for those people that don't know you, who you are, where you're from, what you do, all of that, all of that.
Okay. My name is Tsungi. I'm a student.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Zimbabwean, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently in Italy right now studying.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think there's anything
Oh yeah,
more.
it's okay. Yeah. So Tsungi is it's a normal person who's a student who's from Zib, who lives or is studying in Italy. And yeah, no, Tungi and I, we go way back, you know, to some of those
Yeah,
bad
we
days.
do.
But anyway, that's not the topic. The topic here today is mental health, and the reason why I chose you or asked you to come through is because you're one person I know who really takes this so seriously to a whole new level. Like I think more than anyone I talk to, and that's not no disrespect to other people that I talk to, no, but like I know that you literally do a lot of these things, and you've been doing this for probably like 2 years or a year or so, and doing those things like checking up, all that stuff, which is very very special, right? Um, so before we dive deep into it, I wanted to ask you, what is mental health to you?
Okay. In a very, very simple way, mental health is basically your well-being, how you're feeling,
Mm.
your emotional, state,
Mhm,
and
mhm, mhm.
yeah, it's to do with cognitive behavior, basically just your ability to process all of that stuff. Just whatever happens in your mind, that is all your mental health.
So mental health is it's basically to do with the mind, basically,
Yes,
from what you're
basically.
saying.
And emotion. It
Oh,
also
and
includes,
emotions.
yes, it also includes your emotions, definitely.
Mm. What about your emotions?
Everything actually, because you can't really separate those things. You
Mm.
because yeah, you can actually. We'll get into that later, but then like
Okay, okay.
emotions actually play a very big part in your mental health.
That's very interesting. The reason I'm asking why, what is mental health, is so that we set this up well, because some people don't know what mental health is. Some people, well, in the African context especially, will be like, what is that? Just just
Yeah,
be you're exaggerating how you feeling or whatever.
yeah. I think
Uh,
the
you think, huh?
I think the misconception with mental health is that it has to be something out of this world, or something different, or something westernized for you to
Ooh.
accept. Exactly. But mental health is just basically like, how are you doing in the most simple way? So that's why maybe it's difficult for people to take seriously because that's not something we value as a society. You only value the politeness of asking, how are you, but not actually like, how is this person feeling?
Mm, that is a deep one. You went deep before we were supposed to go deep, man. Ah,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
But no, I think that's a strong hitting point. Um, our society definitely we sort of like undermine, mental health issues and say, ah, it's a Western culture thing. Or
Exactly.
if it's race, they'll be like, ah, it's for white people only, which is not true. Like, I think this affects everyone. Like you said, it affects your mental, your emotions, how you are, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, now, my next question, right, um, would be, how does mental health affect life in general for a human being?
Well, it affects you in all areas because it's there's what is called like the cognitive behavior that
What's
has
that?
to do with it basically has to do with the ability to perceive things and react to them, to process things and understand them, and also
Mm,
to record knowledge, like remember things. So if that is affected, basically the way you function is affected as a whole. So I think that is the biggest part of your mental health. Like if that is affected in any way, it affects your decision making, it affects how you perceive things, it also affects how you process and understand information and things that happen around you.
oh, okay. So basically,
Exactly.
if your mental health is not in check, right? You're basically saying that any other decision that you make, all these most of the decisions that you make, they won't be um properly thought out in a positive way that can better whatever decision it is you're making. Yeah.
I guess that's one way to put it.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
another? What's another? Help
I think
me and anyone else understand.
there's different levels to mental health because
Mm.
it's a spectrum because I think people have just a very binary idea of what mental health should look like. It's basically just like physical health. Like if you're sick, you could have cancer or you could have a flu, and those are different levels of sickness and
Oh.
they affect you in a different way. You get so
Oh,
someone
okay.
who's feeling sad or angry or going through grief is definitely not in a good place mentally, but that's
Mm.
different from someone who's also experiencing things like trauma from abuse and just basically or natural disaster or things like COVID, that all
Mm.
affects on health. So it does affect your decisions, but I can't really say negatively or positively because our brain reacts in a way that wants to protect us. And sometimes that can be a good thing, and in other times, like that can be a limiting factor. So it's a spectrum and it's
Oh.
different for everyone. So
Ah.
yeah, it's not a very binary thing where you can just be like, oh, my mental health, and then you already know what's going on. People just assume that if you're not okay, and if you're fine, um, you're fine. Like there's so
Wow.
much in between that.
Damn. You know what? When you're saying this, yeah, I'm thinking it's basically like a defense mechanism within your
Yeah,
your body, your brain. It's walls that tell you, something is wrong, and
yeah, the
we're going to
cognitive
trying to
behavior.
protect. The one thing that's common here is protecting.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
that's what I'm getting. Whether it's a positive or a negative thing, like has a positive or negative impact, that's a different chat. But it's trying to protect. That's what the brain is trying to do from
Yeah.
whatever issue you're going through mentally. Correct?
Yes.
Woo! Damn, I feel like a preacher. Okay. So, um now there's one thing that I wanted to sort of move towards because and especially with this mental health, what I've seen though is that mental health issues definitely they affect everyone, right? Definitely. However, I've seen they have more of negative impact towards men than women. And the evidence I have of this is the simple thing of, unfortunately, 75% of suicides come from men, which is an alarming figure. When I hear such stuff like that, it's really saddening to hear. Recently there's a guy I learned with, the same thing happened with him. He committed suicide. It's mental health issues. And I wanted to ask you, from your experience, from talking to people, because I know you check up on people and you talk to people, men, women, whatever. Why would you think that for guys it's a bit more daunting than it is for women? And what is it that women do that is a bit better for them to kind of deal with their mental health?
I will answer this from my feminist side to say
Okay.
no, but then I will back it up with something logical so that you can get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I am going to blame the patriarchal society
Mm-mm.
because we have rigid gender roles for men,
Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes, yes.
if you
And
don't
women.
fit into that,
Mm-hmm.
and women, yes, but we're
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the
Oh
men,
yeah, okay, no, right
and
now we're talking focusing
yes,
on men, yeah.
and if you don't fit into that, you have basically you've fallen short. And
Mm.
most of the causes of
Yes, yes.
their mental illness is because you've fallen short from these specified and rigid gender roles.
Ooh.
What I mean is, you're supposed to be an object of success, you're supposed to be an object of money, you're supposed to
Mm.
be an object of strength, you're supposed to
Yes.
be, you have these things. And if you don't appear strong, if you don't appear like you're successful, and if you don't appear like you've got money or like a provider, then that's where you actually feel like I am not doing enough, or I do not deserve to be in society. And that's where you then have a lot of issues with your mental health because you you don't feel like you're enough.
Mm. Shit.
The suicide comes from people who are dealing with basically not having enough money, not being able to provide for other people, you
Mm.
know. Yes, and just basically I don't have the money, I don't appear strong. And I think the biggest, because women also have gender roles, but the difference now is women are not expected to be strong. So
Oh, oh yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big
So
one.
when a man comes forward with a problem that is emotionally related, they are shunned, not taken seriously, and shamed for it because traditionally, in a patriarchal society, men men's feelings don't matter. Basically, they do not matter.
Damn, that is deep.
So there's no safe space for men to talk about their feelings, to talk about their emotions, to talk about things that they're going through, and that makes it a lot more difficult to deal with what's happening, like mentally, because it's an internal battle. So
Mm.
you fight it alone.
Mm. That's mad.
So with women, we have much better support systems. We actually have support systems. Women speak out, we can talk to our friends, we can talk to even other men,
Mm.
about our feelings.
Mm.
And men don't have that. They do not have that. So that has to be the biggest problem because even if you look at suicide attempts, what helped was the person who went to listen to their problem. It
Oh.
didn't need some grand gesture. They don't need anything. Just someone to sit down and listen. But okay. It doesn't mean they helped them or saved them from their situation, but they just sat down and they listened to what this person had to say and what they were going through. And that plays a big part in mental health. So that has to be the difference.
Damn. Um, it's very special that you mentioned this. Um, where I sort of think there's a contradiction now. You saying very truthful things. However, there most women that I've interacted with, I don't know, maybe others may, but the ones that I have interacted with, they seem to want the men that can express themselves and when they're going through these internal battles. Because I think out of all the women I've talked to, actually all of them have said that, right? And other guys always say that. But why is it that it still seems so hard? Or maybe when they do receive some of these things from men, them expressing themselves, why does it seem like, I don't know, is it becomes so difficult to take in, or what is it? Because what's
I
being
think we
talked about and what's actually happening, two different WhatsApp groups. You know what I'm saying?
I think we forget that women are also patriarchal. that
Oh.
that is the biggest problem. So while the society is patriarchal, the society also consists of women. So a woman can expect a man to be strong. And it's easy, it's very easy to be modern and to go with the crowd and say, I want an emotionally available man, I want a guy who
Yes,
will open
I
up
hear
to me.
that a lot. Hmm.
It's very easy. But were you actually raised to accommodate those feelings?
Ooh. Oh my days, that's a clickbait. Anyway,
You
yeah.
see, even men, you were not raised to express them. So even if you
Yes.
wanted to, you
Hmm.
don't even know where to start. The same thing with
Hmm.
women. You were not
Hmm.
raised to accommodate men's feelings. So even if he expressed them, you wouldn't know what to do with them. You may find that these women it's very easy to say, oh no, I want an emotionally available person. When you get that person, you don't even know what to do with them. And that's where you find people who are like, no, I think he's boring or whatever, because he's not what you're used to. And your brain is like, it doesn't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with a person. I had to educate myself,
Ooh, yeah.
literally Instagram. I
She's
had to
come from a
educate
long way.
myself.
That
I
yeah, I
had
can
to
testify to
learn
that. Hmm.
and I had to learn how to listen, just how to listen to someone else's problems, because it's unique. It's a skill that none of us are taught. I
Oof.
I don't think parents sit their children down and they tell you, if someone comes to you with their feelings, you validate them. No
Ooh.
one is taught that.
No one thought that. Most
No one
people
is taught.
aren't.
So if someone comes to you with their feelings, you're gonna throw them with toxic positivity, unsolicited advice, because that's what you were taught.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you may say, "Oh, I want." Even for the man, it will be difficult when you grew up. Like, okay, not Shona, but like girls.
Yes. Yeah.
No, you grow up and then you're told, nah, boys don't cry. Oh no, you're the boy, you're supposed to do this. Oh no, you're the boy, you're supposed to be strong. Oh no, you're the boy, you can't talk about this. Oh, you're the boy, how come you feel like this? You're ridiculed by your parents, by your friends when you express emotions. And when you have a soft side, it's you're like a girl. And it's a shunned thing and it's shamed from the ages of
Mm.
7. By the time you're 10, I am supposed to be emotionally available in order to protect myself. So by the time you're 25, you're not trying to open up to no one.
Because that's basically 20 years at
You're not
least
trying to
of
open up to no.
conditioning.
And whilst boys are being told you're supposed to be like this, we girls are there and we're watching. So also when we grow up, we expect and we attract that same thing that we were taught is supposed to be a man. So
Damn.
it is very difficult to break that cycle. You don't
Okay.
even know that
You don't even know that what?
you're not aware that this person is emotionally unavailable, but you attract that person because that's what you know and that's what you were raised to want.
Woo. Okay. Now, you mentioned that you had to teach yourself. Yeah. I
Yes.
know there's some ladies, young ladies, girls, authors that are listening. For them, how would you advise, like how did you teach yourself actually to to accept this type of, because obviously you had conditioning and then you unlearned that conditioning. So how did you teach yourself?
Instagram.